morning, good afternoon, good evening, Fabulous. This is Angela. I got questions for you. What opens? Well, when I got there, it opened for me with Max kind of smoothing over things with the detective and getting him off the trail of the Ted murderation situation. And what closes with the detective hot on the trail of the Ted murderation situation and adding William and Sean to his murder figuration board. If you guess Daytime Divas, I think this is number 7. I don't know what the title is, but it'll be in the title. Yesterday's edition of Daytime Divas. Then you're correct. Thank you for clicking and sticking around for the video. I'm Angela, and the channel is Be Fabulous You. And let's see how we got from opening to closing. So I think I was late. I got in and I was doing something, so I don't know if I saw the very beginning scene, but when I came in, what was happening was Max was with the detective, you know, the guy that's investigating the case, because Anna done put him on the case and he back on the case, or he on the case, this cold case, 11 years old, it's an old case, the man is dead, buried, gone. But the crime is still a crime, and he gonna get to the bottom of it. And Max is, trying to do her, use her charm, use her powers to kind of shut him down. And I think she feels that she's been very successful. Then we see Heather. She's in the car with her children, and I can't remember what happened. But it is basically setting the stage for the fact that she has one child who they have, he's the junior. We think he's a boy. He feels that he's a girl. His name is Ella, Emma, whatever. So, there's some interaction that Heather, who's the one on the show, who's the Christian, blonde, woman who's in the process of having some issues with her husband. They were doing the Christian discipline thing, and he's kind of moved on, it seems. Yeah. Okay. So I don't know. I didn't take notes. I just wrote Heather in the car with kids because I thought I was going to get a chance to go back and watch the beginning, but I'm not going to have time. So then we see that Kippy is mad at Heather and her whorish ways, because if you remember, Kippy had realized, had figured out that she was in love with, interested in, wanted to pursue something with, see what was up with her sober coach. And she found this out at her fake, to us, 1 year sober party, because we know she only 31 days sober. She realized it, and she went to tell him of her love for him. And meanwhile, Miss Heather, or her potential interest in him, and meanwhile, Miss Heather decided, oh, he flirting with me. So she went hard on him because she had been knocked backwards by the news of her husband with this younger woman who's a model. He done moved on. So the child, Kippy, walk in the room, and Heather is trying to give the man that Kippy is trying to get with a blowjob. Shh, don't tell anybody. Look, it's some people over there painting, so I don't know if they can hear me. I'm like, I don't know how loud I should talk, but anyway. And my windows are down. It's a beautiful day. It's a beautiful day. Is it a beautiful day where you are? So then we got the regular guest co-host shuffle going on. We see Eve coming back, and she's scoping through the halls, got on her hat and glasses. She does not want to be bothered with those women. She says that she's there to get something that she left. I thought she was there for something else, but she probably, because she was in and out, and oh, come on back. Oh, we couldn't figure this out. She like, you can figure it out. Bye. See you later. Max, oh, you can come back anytime. You were a great host. Okay, I'm just so busy. Bye. She don't want to be bothered. Mess. It's a mess. And then we find out that Eve is out. She was the guest. She don't want to come back. And Janet Mock is there as the first transgender co-host that they've had. And when they go on the show, the lunch hour, they're talking about, I don't know what they're talking about, but anyway, the subject of custody comes up, or something comes up, which has Max on high alert in terms of her grandchild and Nina, because whatever Nina is saying on the panel is making Max feel very uncomfortable and concerned that there's going to be an issue when it comes to her having access to her grandchild that's in Nina's belly right now. Okay. So then we're at Max's home, and she's telling William that she's deaded the detective issue. That's done with. She done handled it. That's done. And she says she wants William to deliver a package to her. Oh my God! This is grown TV. What they? And he says he can't because his mama is coming. And then in walks his mama, Patti LaBelle. I think the character's name is Gloria, but she is playing a hot ass mess. She's very strong-willed, energetic, talkative. She say what she think, and she don't hesitate to say it. She's very aggressive, assertive, bold. She's bold. She's a handful. She's a diva. She's a handful. Then she says to Maxine, "Oh, come, give me a big hug." And Maxine is like, "I'm not much of a hugger," but the woman is already hugging her. And she's like, "Oh, I want to come see the show." And Max is like, "You know, you can come see the show tomorrow. I'll get you seats." And then the woman is like, "By the way," she walks away and then she comes back. And then she's like, "By the way, these better not be cheap seats." Who do that? They give you seats for free and you complaining and making demands? Who do that? Patti LaBelle. She's a diva. All right. So anyway, that's fun. Then we see Sonny Boy Sean, and his mom is like, "You know, we're concerned about what Nina was saying on the show. Aren't you concerned?" And he like, "I don't even watch the show. I don't listen. I tune it out. Y'all be like, blah, 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 my period, blah, 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 lipstick, blah, 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 skirts, blah, 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 shoes." I was like kind of a little bit offended. Sonny Boy Sean. Okay, so but he's like, he's not concerned. He says Nina would never keep me from the child. And Max is like, "You need to protect yourself from Nina, Sonny Boy, because trust me, it's time to lawyer up. You don't know what's gonna happen, and you need to be prepared." And then we see Nina and Sean, and they're having a conversation, and you know, she's like, "Oh yeah, you know, you should have access to the baby as long as it's convenient for me," or whatever she says. Is sort of like she's qualifying it. And so then combined with what his mother says, he starts feeling a way about it. And then he's like, "You know, I'm not gonna be a weekend dad now, you know, that's not gonna happen." And And then she's like, "Well, I give you my word. You know, you're going to have access to your child." And he like, "We know your word ain't worth shit." You know, I don't know what he say, but that's basically what he means. Then we see Gloria. That's the diva Patti LaBelle. And she's at the show. She's like, you know, after the show, I guess she's just talking. She all loud. Everybody can hear. She like, "The show was okay. You know, I see you got some swag bags." I think Max is talking to her. "Oh, the swag bags are a bunch of junk. I'll be back tomorrow for that. Mo. Is Mo gonna be on the show?" And it's kind of like, no. And then Heather is bonding with and probing Janet Mock about her transgender experience. Now we know what is going on with Heather, but apparently it appears to the other people, or they feel that, like, even before they went on stage, or maybe this is when they were going on stage, but before they went on the show, it was kind of like two of the women felt like, "Oh, Heather is trying to be sweet and nice to Janet Mock," but then once they get on the show, she gonna turn on her conservative. You know, Janet is gonna be thrown off because Heather was so sweet to her, but then she gonna be mean to her when she gets on the show. But Heather, meanwhile, we know she just alpha female. She focused on getting the information so that she can support her child, and trying to understand what's going on with her child, and what she can expect, and trying to make peace with what's going on with her child. So then we see Kibby, her Lacey from Outer Spacey. That's the show she did as a child star. Her dad is supposed to be on the show, and Max is really excited and pumping it up and everything. And as the preparation advances, they're like, "Oh, we got this, you know, spin the Lacey from Outer Spacey trivia wheel," and you know, they're all excited. And Kibby is like, "Oh yeah," and then I kind of was starting to get the feeling that she may not be that excited. And then we see her call the dad, her TV dad, and she tells him not to come. "I don't care what you have to do. I don't care what you have to do to get out of it, but do not come on the lunch hour. That's all I know. Do not come. Don't come. Do not come." So then we see Detective at La Moray. When he was interviewing Max earlier in the episode, she was like, oh, we were at La Moray. Have you been there? And he's like, I can't even afford salmon for my lox, or lox for my bagel, or something, he said, let alone a meal at La Moray. So we see the detective at La Moray. It's a fancy restaurant, and the same waiter is working there 11 years later, who was working there 11 years ago when that night. And he says that Ted got really mad. That's Max's dead husband. And it was like really, really mad, like scary mad. So, you know, the detective is on the trail. And then we're backstage at the show, and William's mother had, the Patti LaBelle character, Sheila Gloria, has set up a table with her pie. She want to sell her pie. She's very assertive. She's aggressive. She's an alpha female. She's like, put me on the show. And Max is like, well, we book our guests weeks in advance. We can't just put you on the show. And she's calling for hair and makeup, and you know, then the hosts come over, and they're like, oh, pie, the other co-host, and they're like, well, who is this? What's going on? And Max is like, you know, this is William, my doorman, and his mother. And somebody says, well, who knew Max? You know, they gossip and kind of talk. Well, who knew Max was so friendly with her doorman? And then somebody else is like, well, who knew Max was so friendly with anyone? But, you know, it's kind of like, what's really going on here? Then we see, and Max is actually a nice woman. I actually like Max. Okay, so then we see Nina has, at the beginning of the show, it was kind of established that she had this stalker, because it was like some guy in the hallway, and I think that Sonny Boy Sean was saying, you know, he should get a job. He's here so much, it's like this is his job. You know, what's going on? So then we see that he's texting her a lot or calling her a lot, and she blocks him, or maybe he's Instagramming her. I'm not really sure, but it's like it's escalating. And then we see Heather grilling Janet Mock. Now, she's a very assertive, aggressive woman, Heather is, even though she's blonde, and she seems like, hi, she is focused. She is laser focused and very assertive in her questioning, and she trying to get the information. She trying to get the answers. She need the answers. She got this transgender woman here. She about to get this information. She want to know, because she got this child. So she's like grilling Janet Mock. And Janet is kind of like, it seems like you might have your own gender issues. So this must be on the show, like they're on the show. And the Heather is like, no, I don't have gender issues. I'm a real girl. So it's kind of like, ooh, we know that's going to be some drama. Then Kippy finds out that her TV show Dad was canceled. We see Nina in a cab, and she gets a call from Sonny Boy Sean to set up the lawyer meeting. She thought he was calling to apologize. He's very friendly, very personable, but he's setting up the meeting. She like, well, hold on a second. He like, we ain't got time to hold on. The baby is coming. We got to get this stuff situated. And so, you know, that's kind of an issue and a surprise to her. She wasn't expecting that. Then we see Heather with Max, and, you know, Heather is like, I wasn't being transphobic. And Max is like, well, you take the top of the show and you apologize to that woman, and also make sure that you apologize privately. And Heather is like, I've been trying to apologize, but she won't talk with me. And then Max is like, well, try harder, because women are stubborn. And then we see the detective. He at the job now. He at the lunch hour, and he's questioning Sean about Ted. And then we see Ramona, the PA, and she's like letting him know, look, we can't find Nina. She's not picking up her phone. She's not on the set. You know, it's showtime. What do we do? And then we know by now that Nina's stalker has her trapped on the elevator. When she was coming in, he like, hey, what's up? You know, or she gets on the elevator, and he's like in disguise or something. She don't notice him. And then once the doors close and she realized who he is, and she's like, well, let's just get it. He like, how you gonna block me? I thought we was friends. I thought we was cool. What's really going on? What's good, Nina? And she's like, let's get off the elevator and talk about it. And he's like, no. And he blocks the elevator, and, you know, blocks her from reaching the thing, and then, you know, stops the elevator. So she trapped on the elevator with her stalker, the stalker man. And then the security comes and they explain to Sonny Boy Sean where Nina is, and that they're trying to get her off the elevator. And the stalker, meanwhile, is on the elevator. He's like, stop treating me like I'm crazy. Would a crazy person have these pictures? And he's got all these pictures of like them on vacation and weird pictures. He got issues. I would be very that was scary. So then we see Heather at the top of the show, and she apologizes to Janet Mock. She says, I'm sorry for asking so many questions. It's not to judge you. My son, my daughter, one of the cohorts is like, Junior, and they say his name. I don't know if it's Brad Jr. or whatever they say the child's name. And she's like, Ella. And then Ella is trans. And then Janet figures out what's going on. She processes. And she's like, that's the first time you said it out loud. And, then Janet kind of decides to give her a break. And she's like, I accept your apology. We don't have to talk about it. It's okay to be trans ignorant, but it's not okay to be transphobic. And then, she's like, well, let's change the subject and talk about something that's really bothering me. Why don't they have healthy food at McDonald's or whatever? I don't remember what she said, but she was very gracious. Then we see, look, I got Patti LaBelle. We got Patti LaBelle and a detective, and they run into each other at the studio. And Mama Gloria Diva LaBelle is like, there's the woman who thinks that she's too good to admit she's dating my son. And then the detective is like, well, yesterday, Max, you acted like you didn't even know the doorman, whatever his name was. So it's obvious something is going on. Ramona ends up stepping up to produce, since Sean is dealing with Nina trapped in the elevator with the stalker. Max decided not to tell the cast what was going on. They just went on without her, and she told the cast that Nina was stuck in traffic. So it was kind of interesting to me, like Max is doing this show knowing that the child is stuck on the elevator with the stalker. They could come off the air and find out that the child has been stabbed, killed, shot. We don't choke to death. We don't rape. We don't know, I guess they wouldn't let that happen in the elevator, but they already know what's going on. But still, maybe not. But you know what I'm saying? And she just, I was taking notes, but that I just suspected Max was a real professional about it. And she didn't want the other women to know, because she didn't want them to be distracted, right? And nervous and upset. And, we see Nina on the elevator with the raving stalker. And on the show, they go from trans talk to trash talk, and Max outs herself again, the same kind of way, sort of kind of outing herself. And she says that, she has a boyfriend, someone she's been dating, and it's her doorman, and they haven't been dating for a while. And I was thinking, haven't they been dating for a while? That's where I was like, sort of kind of I'm going to tell you the whole truth. And then she don't tell you the whole truth. Max, and then we see Nina is free, and she says to her stalker, no, you're not my friend. Friends don't hold friends hostage. Y'all remember Friends Don't Let Friends Drink and Drive? Anyway, I thought that was a weird line. But it's true. Friends don't hold friends hostage. If you my friend, you can't be holding me hostage. If you hold me hostage, you can't be my friend. Okay. And then Nina's like, well, what did I miss? And they're like, well, Max is dating the doorman, and Heather's kid is trans. And then Max gets Nina, because Doc is there. Oh, Max is like, come on, Nina. The doctor is here. I'm not taking no for an answer. You got my baby, my grandbaby in your belly, so come on here and talk to this doctor. And then Kibby gives Heather a sparkly barrette for Ella, so they've kind of made up. She's like, when I was a little girl, I like sparkly things, and maybe Ella will too. So then we see Sean and Max, and he's like, you and William, I saw you. So he like, okay, so you and William. I was kind of surprised, like it was almost like he didn't know that they were a couple. I was confused, because he seemed like, or maybe he was just surprised that she said it out loud. And then Max is like, I saw you talking to the detective. Then we have a flashback. And did Sonny Boy Sean kill Ted? Because his mama says, Max says, it wasn't your fault. And Sonny Boy Sean say, you damn right. So, did he kill her? Is that what happened? Okay, so then we see Heather, and she's in the car with the children, and she gives Ella the barrette or something, and he's like, what's going on? I thought we had rules, or I couldn't do this. And Heather is like, we're changing the rules. You can be who you really are, Ella, all the time. Isn't that special to be able to be who you are all the time? So then we see William and Max have been together at least since the night of Max's hubby's Ted's death, because she says something like, well, I just thought it would be better for them to think that I just discovered love under my nose all along, rather than we've been dating since Ted was killed or whatever. And then we see the detective adding William and Sean to the murder figuration board. So that's what we got. That was the Divas. I haven't watched Basketball Wives. I got to get a chance to watch that. But as soon as I do, I'm going to, get to you with the review. My target is always within 72 hours. So we're still on target. Yay! It's a wonderful, beautiful day. Fabulites, be you. Be fabulous. Be fabulous you. Talk to you soon.